I'm Genta. Are you ready for your drum? Let the drum along begin!
protect us. Body and mind. Motion to compel. Time to act. No, my sword. Boom boom. Let the show begin. Body and mind. Brain cutter. Motion to compel. Incinerate! Let's dance. Sure feels gloomy. Are Paimon's eyes playing tricks? Or are there things...
Visions.
Visions? You mean all the visions that are collected from the Vision Hunt decree are put into the statue?
So you've already heard of the Vision Hunt decree. Before I try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first that Mondstadt is the City of Freedom, and as for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity. The Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler and its deity. The Eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to rule over Inazuma. As such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nation's affairs, and the Sakoku Decree to limit the people's. The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the stream of time to flow from one end to the other without disturbing it for all time.
Seems like every god has their own will.
Of course, this is my own limited understanding. As for the reason behind the recent Vision Hunt decree, perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that her eternity doesn't allow for such instability to exist. Whatever the case, the fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryo Commission to scour, and this statue of the omnipresent god can be seen as Inazuma.
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say that the...
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare speak out so and yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt decree is something that simply should not exist.
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like your mind is elsewhere.
Sound? What sound? I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, you touched the statue, and then what?
Aspirations? That would seem to confirm the saying. Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, the gods look upon them with favor. That is where visions come from. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition. So if what you just said is true, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined. Alright, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato residence.
Finally!
Inazuma.
So, this is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh? Paimon kinda expected it to be snazzier.
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence on—
Is this the Shirasage Himegimi you keep going on about? So, behind the screen?
Yes. As the daughter of the Yashiro Commission, this is how Miss Kamisato is accustomed to receive— Consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yashiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome surprise.
Makes sense. She's a super important person after all.
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion, especially following such a long and wearisome journey over the sea. I have awaited your arrival with great anticipation, and Toma assures me that you do indeed possess the power to change the tide of the times. At present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, the people's aspirations are being senselessly trampled underfoot. Though the Yashiro Commission serves the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share close bonds. Given the a commission's power rises and falls with the trust of their people. Thus, Traveler, lend us your power, and we can— Oh.
See, milady, it's just like I said. This will take us nowhere.
No, please! Wait! Please, don't go! I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition. You must fulfill 3 small wishes on my behalf.
What are your wishes?
They pertain to 3 whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met them, you will understand.
A warrior who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the Vision Hunt Decree.
Correct. Please do all you can to help them. I will await your return. Then you have my gratitude.
I'm sure you'll do great.
The insolent shall be punished. Where are you? Time to act. Out of my sight. Windblade. No mercy. Rain outlines your fate. Incinerate! Out of my sight! Your Majesty's power flows through me! Body and mind, witness the power of Gurwa! Motion to compel! Winter shall eventually come. I'll protect us.
To the ferry.
Let's see. Where's the person Ayaka told us about?
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden, after all these years?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play.
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about.
You must also be here to try and... Tejima has protected this place ever since he arrived here 30 years, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving quarrels between the villagers. But now, all of a sudden, he says he plans... We will gladly apologize if that's the case.
If you want my opinion, something to do with it's clear that Tejima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated his vision. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very important to him. He went off on a... Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is the...
Seems like he's a well-respected guy.
We can't let him leave while he's in...
You must be Tejima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of it?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason. True. But that's not why I chose to stay. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave? I don't have answers to those questions, because I can't remember anymore. Ever since they took in the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But what?
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you rediscover the reason you chose to stay, you won't need to But if you can't remember anything, it's... Oh! Maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then it'll all come flooding back?
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe I saw him writing it.
I keep a diary?
Oh, yes, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you...
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to find a study.
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary.
This looks like Tejima's... Let's see what we... Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was today I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before finding out that Bamboo was the name of his pet crab. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back, so I just found somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away into the distance. Seems like your average diary of daily village life. Huh? Wait! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The Omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is... Now that's the kind of info we're looking for! Time to pay a visit to the shrine! So this is the Omamori Tejima wrote about. Interesting. Looking at the color and the design, but anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there's a chance some of it... that Tejima visited a lot. The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima buried something precious. It must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around for 30 years. It looks like a letter. The paper's gone... Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone. But he's been here for 30 years. Oh, well, let's go give Tejima his stuff back.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamori and... But I have no memory of anything. Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for... Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. anything that I could share with her when we were finally reunited. And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has... How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything I felt for her. It's all... No. Not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been... I think... maybe not. If this is something I waited most of... Although... what if she were to turn up eventually? When I think about it like that. How curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? It... Thank you both for helping me. I shall remain here.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, it makes Paimon really sad. Seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. If you lose your vision, you lose all your hopes and dreams. That certainly explains the state Tejima was in earlier. At least we were able to help him, weren't we? Well, let's go find the... According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission. They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law, but why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food! We demand an explanation!
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provision.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some goods to be pocketed.
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this!
And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself, I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. He's the same as all the other samurai. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to. And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently, I I'd even disappointed the...
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt decree. Why would you be unworthy of your victory?
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details. All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. And it's not just that. I have this unsettling feeling, like some...
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provision?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard time. To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders, which is why I came here in the first place. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself. If there were any emergency provisions...
He seems to be telling the truth, but we better confirm. Let's go round up the... We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone too far.
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods, we really hit the jackpot. I mean,
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history.
You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's teach them a...
Time to act. No, my sword!
I got careless.
Body and mind. Time for your arraignment!
we're open! Oh, there goes all the Mora! We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you. Kurosawa. Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew we shouldn't have hit that.
So what did you see inside? Was it stuffed with...
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange-looking box, hopefully with valuables. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little box for our freedom. What do you say?
You've got a deal! Now show us what...
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but IOUs!
Yeah, a lot of them too. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi. We're talking tons of more. We better talk to this Miss Aoi, and as for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths don't cross again.
Yes, of course.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Let's dance.
The essence of the army. and unrelenting willpower.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Can I help you find something? Or perhaps there's something you want to inquire about? Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it? Perhaps you're here to pay off his debts.
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just here to learn where they all came from. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super expensive?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out.
So that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased, couldn't he just buy less?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provision and no one ever appreciated what he did. They just complained and held him accountable.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, no. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from... Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, if you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself? I see. That reminds me, it seems that his vision was recently most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so...
Sword? What sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses a very... I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father, that it was too precious to sell. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has its price, at least. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even... Oh, but before you go, if you would kindly settle today's...
But we didn't buy anything!
Information is also a kind of... Don't worry, I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever discussed was explicitly confidential anyway. Oh...
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are coming from. Plus, we found it. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again. And...
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders? Everything I...
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so. This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So all I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he said to me, with...
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt. Can you recognize the words?
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people I was so desperately trying to help. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah, seems like losing all ambition is a tear. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.